Congress stalwart Shashi Tharoor has once again broken ranks with his party and endorsed Narendra Modi's government's position on the US-Israel-Iran war. In an article he's written for the Indian Express this morning, he's termed India's silence on the matter as responsible statecraft rather than a moral retreat. The Congress MP also acknowledged that the conflict cannot be justified under international law and violates principles that India has long upheld, including sovereignty, non-aggression and peaceful resolution. Yet, he argued that New Delhi's restraint reflects strategic prudence. Praising the India First diplomacy by the Modi government, he also went ahead and said it balances principle with pragmatism, while keeping its national interest paramount. This helps, he says, India practice multi-alignment in an increasingly multipolar world. Now, Shashi Tharoor's open praise for the Modi government stands in sharp contrast to the Congress party's official line. The party has repeatedly questioned the government's foreign policy, accusing it of silence and inaction. It has consistently called on the centre to condemn the killing of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei and termed the government's restraint as an abdication of responsibility. In fact, Sonia Gandhi, in her article in the Indian Express, had condemned the Modi government after it chose to remain silent over the assassination of Iran's supreme commander on day one of the war. She had then written that the government's silence is not neutrality, it is abdication, it is an endorsement of the killing. However, ladies and gentlemen, Shashi Tharoor has had a different view. In a veiled dig at his own party, Tharoor also took aim possibly at the High Command. He wrote, and I quote, "Indian liberals who demand condemnation of the war mistake moral absolutism for moral courage. They forget that foreign policy is not an academic seminar." This is, of course, not the first time that Shashi Tharoor isn't towing the party line. There have been numerous instances in the past as well. The most debated was, of course, on Operation Sindoor. But today, it isn't just Tharoor breaking ranks with the party. Another Congress veteran, Manish Tewari, is backing the government, saying that India is doing the right thing because that is really what strategic autonomy is about. The ability to protect your interests and navigate. Now, the Congress party is saying the views of both Tharoor and Manish are personal. The BJP says the Congress is being shown the mirror by its own, yet it is refusing to take the right stand.
देखिए, सबके अलग अंदाज होते देखने का और उनका नज़र, जैसे मैं आपको एक क्लास दिखला रहा हूँ, ये भरी हुई है, खाली भी हुई है। मेरा ये मानना खाली क्यों है? अगर ये डिले हुआ है तो निश्चित रूप से मोदी जी, क्योंकि ईरान हमारा एक बहुत स्वाभाविक मित्र हुआ करता था, अगर उसमें पैसेज जो, अगर स्टेट ऑफ हार्मोज की बात करें तो चाइना और रसिया को जो एडवांटेज मिला, हमें क्यों नहीं मिला? क्या कारण है? अब जाके चीजें अगर आई हैं तो कहीं ना कहीं ये मान के चले कि जो रिलेशन हमारे नॉर्मल थे वो नॉर्मल नहीं हो पाया था बीच के क्षणों में, अब जाके वो ठीक करने का प्रयास किया गया। तो इस नजरिए से मैं देखता हूं इसे।
कांग्रेस कहती है भारत की डिप्लोमेसी फेल हुई, भारत को कूटनीतिक हार मिली, विदेश नीति पर वो राजनीति करती है, पर आईना डॉक्टर थरूर और मनीष तिवारी ने उनको दिखाया है। क्या ये कांग्रेस वर्सेस कांग्रेस है? परहैप्स, पर यह भी है कि देश हित को पार्टी और परिवार हित के ऊपर रखना चाहिए।
Okay, since that soundbite, it seems that Manish Tewari has had a bit of a heart change. I think I should put that out as well. But for the moment, Sanju Verma is a national spokesperson of the BJP joining us on the broadcast. Hi, Sanju, good evening. Tehseen Poonawalla is a political analyst. He's joining us on the broadcast. Today, only 7 minutes for the debate. So I'll ask both of you to keep your comments short. Tehseen Poonawalla, please respond. Is what Mr. Shashi Tharoor saying wrong, that if it is in national interest to keep quiet, please keep quiet?
Thank you for having me on the show. I'm actually surprised why it's Sanju versus me. I wish I knew it slightly better. Because I think, and I do concur with a lot of what Dr. Tharoor and Manish Tewari say, though there are certain layers to it. So one, let me put this out. Of course, there's been a government failure with regards to LPG, particularly the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas had been complete failure. I mean, I've never seen a worst petroleum minister in our history, independent history. He's completely failed. He was snoozing when this crisis was taking place. Having said that, the tankers that have come in, the credit goes to the Prime Minister. He personally picked up the call, spoke to the Iranian president. We know 11 o'clock, the Iranian 180 sailors went back. We know, and look, let's be honest, whatever side of the fence Sanju and I are, no Prime Minister will want lack of energy security for their 140 crore population. India is an energy hungry country. One second, so finish this. So the Prime Minister will do what is best in our interest to secure our energy security. One thing I agree with Mrs. Gandhi, the debt of Ayatollah Saab, I think should have come officially from the Prime Minister rather than Vikram Misri. That is my opinion. Simply because the Prime Minister last year took a favor when there was an exception again made for India with regards to Iranian students coming out of Iran when July, August, US was bombing, Israel was bombing Iran. So they had a good equation.
No, Sanju, would you want to respond to that?
Yes. And I did not interject Tehseen. He spoke for 2 minutes. I don't know why Tehseen said, I wish I knew Sanju.
No, I'll tell you why he said it. I'll tell you, Sanju, no. There should be no miscommunication on this show. I'll tell you why. He probably would have thought that a Congress spokesperson would have been on the show. Trust me, we asked the Congress for a spokesperson to represent the party's view. They decided not to send anyone. So, there should be no miscommunication. Go ahead, Sanju.
No miscommunication.
Okay, fine. Yeah. Because despite my disagreements, I think Tehseen is the saner, one in the Congress.
आज आप दोनों एक दूसरे की तारीफ ही कर रहे हो नहीं हाँ संजू go ahead.
नहीं अभी तारीफ के बाद देखिए अभी और क्या बोलना है मुझे.
बोलो जल्दी.
तारीफ हो गई. I just want to say one thing. I was on your show last week, Shreya, and if you remember, I said that the Modi government's foreign policy is based on de-escalation and dialogue, but more importantly, हमको जो बचपन से कहा जाता है, often silence is golden. In this current West Asian crisis, silence is leverage, silence is statecraft, silence is golden, and grandstanding and moral courage or moral positioning mean nothing if it is running contrarian to our national interests. But the moot point is this, Shreya, and I have to stress this in no uncertain terms. I say to the Darbari ecosystem, I challenge you, in the independent history of India, show me one Prime Minister who has been able to de-hyphenate Israel from the Arab world, Israel from Palestine, who has been able to pick up the phone, speak to Emmanuel Macron, speak to his counterparts in Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Jordan, Bahrain, Oman, what have you, can speak to the Iranian president, can have a phone line with Vladimir Putin of Russia, and yet the Congress ecosystem says, Arey, Modi has surrendered. Please, Shreya, give me 2 minutes. I heard Tehseen for 2 minutes. You're getting a bit jumpy. The final point I want to say is this. There is a word called goal post. What has the Congress been doing? It has been shifting the goal post relentlessly. पहले इन्होंने कहा, अरे, why did we not sign the condolence book? Condolence book was opened on the 5th of March. Immediately Vikram Misri signed it. तब इन्होंने कहा, प्रधानमंत्री मोदी ने क्यों sign नहीं किया? Then when Modi spoke to his Iranian counterpart, then they said, oh, but it was a tad too little and a tad too late. My simple point is this. Today, the fact of the matter is, Shreya, none of our 100,000 fuel stations are running dry. None of our 26,000 LPG outlets are running dry. And 1 minute, under Manmohan Singh, there is that clip which is viral. I wish you would play it, Shreya. When asked why oil prices were raised by 8 rupees a litre in one go, Manmohan Singh ने कहा, पैसे पेड़ पर थोड़ी उगते हैं, पैसे पेड़ पर थोड़ी उगते हैं बोलने वाले आज मोदी जी को ज्ञान देते हैं.
नहीं, I also remember what Modi ji said about the rupee. Let's not get there, Tehseen. But the point is, Shashi Tharoor in his article today is writing that personally he believes that Ayatollah Khomeini's death should have been, at least there should have been a condolence message that went, that went from the Indian Prime Minister. But as a country, he thinks that it was possibly wise not to have done that. Because we haven't spoken, because we have remained silent, we have been able to call everyone and speak to them and ensure that our interests, our national interests, are paramount.
I agree with half of what Dr. Tharoor says. I do believe the Prime Minister should have put that out personally, and I said that in my opening remarks. But as a country, we've not remained silent. As Sanju said, Vikram Misri, in the first day the condolence book came out, India did officially condemn it. So that is where India stands, and it expressed condolences. And India has a strong Shia population. That, by the way, is not totally anti-BJP. Let's also keep that. The Shia population does like BJP. Now let's come to the next part of it. I do think that India, particularly Dr. Manmohan Singh and Prime Minister Modi, do have the stature to play a bigger role in this conflict. Manmohan Singh ji had, and not Prime Minister Modi. I do believe Prime Minister Modi can speak to both Netanyahu, the current Iranian leadership, the Middle Eastern leadership, and France and our allies, and bring about a peace. And I do look forward, because that's our national interest. I again repeat one thing, no Indian Prime Minister, be it Manmohan Singh or Modi ji, will compromise India's energy security. So, I think we should be slightly more gracious with our leaders.
I don't know what Sanju you'll come in with, because today both of you are on the same side. No,
we are all Team India. We are all Team India.
Please let me speak.
20 seconds, 20 seconds. Go ahead, then we'll wrap.
You gave him 1 minute, Shreya. I think
bhaiya, 1 minute le lo. Chalo, Sanju, 1 minute and we'll wrap it. Chaliye.
Please, abhi mujhe bolne do, Shreya ji, please. Shreya, I think you're a very smart journalist. But when you talk about what Narendra Modi ji said about the rupee, let me say one thing to you. Under the Congress, our foreign reserves were $300 billion. And before the war started, India's forex reserves were $728 billion, enough to cover 14 months of imports. The Congress left us with oil bonds. We just finished repaying 3.23 lakh crore in terms of both principal and interest. And let me tell you one more thing. We are saying, yes, we raised prices of LPG by 7%. When Saudi contract prices are up 42%, Brent crude prices are up 78%, and in the spot market in Asia, LPG prices are up how much, Shreya? 160%. So please don't compare apples with watermelons. Thank God for Narendra Modi.
Sanju Verma, Sanju Verma, that is okay, but will you say thank God for Shashi Tharoor as well? I want to know why you are not sending an invite to him to come join the BJP. On most issues, he sides with you.
I'll just say one thing. In this particular, and I am known to speak my mind, in this particular issue, I quite like what Shashi Tharoor has said, but what I don't quite like about his article, and where I disagree with him respectfully, is he has invoked Nehru at least half a dozen times. Nehru's non-aligned policy did not work. Prime Minister Modi's multi-alignment is working and delivering on the ground. This is something Shashi Tharoor should have also spoken about, rather than invoking Nehru at the drop of a hat.
Okay.
6 times in his article.
Okay. We'll leave it there for the moment. This was a short debate. Thank you very much, Sanju Verma, for joining us. Tehseen Poonawala for joining us on the broadcast. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, a quick break. There's more on the other side. Do stay with us.